Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 2520, Ninjago Battle Arena from the very first Ninjago wave back in 2011. This set contained 463 pieces, 2 minifigures, and originally retailed for $49.99 in the US. This video is of course a part of my Ninjago throwback review series, so let me know in the comments which set you want to see a throwback review on next. It could be any set from 2011 to 2018, and while I don't have them all, I do have a lot of them, so let me know in the comments which set you want to see most, and I may just choose it for next week's Ninjago throwback review. If you guys want to see which throwback reviews I've already done, there'll be a link in the description to a playlist with all of them, but now let's get into this video. So back in 2011 and 2012, when we had the original Ninjago spinner game, there was a few sets like this, where they were built to be used with the Ninjago spinners, however they were brick-built, and had ways to sort of mix up the way the game is played. This, though, I believe was the very first set like this, and while I had friends who had this set in 2011, I never actually got it until this year, but it was one I always wanted as a kid because I thought it was the coolest thing. I loved the spinners, and the idea of having this elaborate arena for them seems super fun, so let me take you through each bit of it. You can see the arena is pretty much split up into two sides. On the left you have like this monastery-styled side, and on the right you have the skeleton-styled side. That's of course to have the ninja on one side and the skeletons on the other. Starting with the left side though, I think this looks absolutely beautiful. They have like this iconic archway, which these kind of archways are present all over 2011 Ninjago. But yeah, just the shapes and the colors and everything look really beautiful. I especially love like the red circular pieces in the center. That's a really nice touch. You've also got what I can assume are meant to be like little lanterns hanging down, and of course everything's held up with like these wooden posts. Taking a look at it from the other side, you can see it doesn't look as nice. Like for example, you have some open technicals right here. However, that does reveal one of the play features on this build. As you can see right next to the archway, you have these white discs, and these are actually flick missiles. Flick missiles were in so many sets back in 2011, but yeah, you can either flick them or push in on them, and that'll shoot them out. So if you had your characters in here on their spinners, you could use these as obstacles to like shoot at your opponent. And yeah, there's one of those on each side. There's also a technical and a technic pin here, and I think the idea with that is if you want to get multiples of this set, or just build like your own extension upon the spinner arena, you would actually be able to connect them together and make something larger. That's a really cool idea. Now, I don't have a ton of these old 2011 arenas, so I'm not sure if there's any others that I actually meant to connect to this. I do intend on collect them all at some point though, so if in a future review I notice these at another set, I'll definitely point it out. But if any of you guys know of anything, let me know in the comments. Regardless, I like that option's there to open up to modularity, even if I don't know of anything that connects to it, because at the very least, if you want to, you could get multiples of this set, and they would be able to connect together just by flipping this around. And then in the center of the two entrances, you have like this little shrine area. It's got 4 total katanas on it, one of them in each color that was available back in 2011. Behind it, you have these printed window pieces that have these Asian characters on them. This is before Ninjago existed, so if I remember correctly, Ninjago stickers and printed pieces would often just use different Chinese and Japanese characters. Not sure exactly what these are, but if anybody knows in the comments, that'd be interesting to know. This section's topped off with very similar red bars to the section that we just looked at, though obviously significantly smaller here. And again, it's got more of those like little lanterns hanging down. I will say one thing that's always sort of bugged me about this part of the set is the way it all sort of ties in with the ninja side of the set, because I think it would have been super cool if it was like half and half split down the middle, and this entire side was still skeleton themed while this side was ninja themed. Instead, it's just like the ninja side extends a little bit too far, which isn't a huge deal, but it would have been cool to see that combo there. But then finally coming to the skeleton entranceway, this thing is awesome. I love the difference between the two. Well, with the ninja side, they made everything very smooth and flat. Like there's not a ton of studs here, and they used lots of rounded pieces. They did the exact opposite for the skeletons. Tons of exposed studs. It's very spiky and jagged. It just creates such a different look from the ninja side to indicate like the good versus evil, the difference between them. That's genuinely just really great design. I love how they did that. But yeah, you can see the design of the side sort of like the skull face. You've got a few tentacle pieces coming up, I guess, to represent like ribs, but then you got like these eyes right here, this nose, and these sticker teeth pieces. The sticker teeth pieces just have like a bone design, and then some of them have like metal plates on them. I guess just to show how rugged and run down the skeletons are. The skull also has like this really funky mohawk on top, and these spikes can be hinged a little bit if you want to change them up, though they do look best when they're down. But yeah, all this is very, very unique. There's all that connects in the back. Again, just like the ninja side does not look nearly as good from the back, but the front looks so cool that honestly, I don't even mind. Unfortunately, this side does not have any flick missiles to shoot out like the other side has. That would have been nice just to make it fair between the two, but that probably wouldn't be too hard to customize if you wanted to add them. But yeah, I would have liked that was included in the base build. But then we get to the very front with these weapon racks. So there's one of these on each side, one for each character, and each of them has 4 clips to hold 4 different weapons, as well as these little tooth pieces that can spin, I guess just to be a little barrier for the arena. On the skeleton side, you can see there's like this knife with a single spike on it, a golden version of like the castle orc sword, a scythe with I guess a wooden handle, and then a chainsaw. While on the ninja side, there's similar weapons, though they're a bit different. Once again, there's that single spike knife, though this one has a slightly different handle. We have a classic LEGO silver spear, another scythe where the build is almost identical, though now it has a gray handle instead of a brown one. And then finally another like little knife that uses that same like rounded hilt, though this time it has a white tooth piece coming off to give it a slightly different shape. And then finally at the very end there is once again more tooth pieces, though on the ninja side they're in white instead of black. But typically, in like newer Ninjago sets, I don't care too much about the weapons included unless it's like an all-new molded part. But back in 2011, I found the weapons to be super fun to collect. I think part of it's because they were used in the spinner game, so whenever you got a new weapon, it was like, oh, this is a cool new thing to use when I'm playing the game. So getting so many different varied weapons here is awesome. The scythes especially, to have a scythe for Cole when he's not using like the scythe that quakes. But no, all of these are awesome, and I love how many you get, because in just the $10 spinner sets, you get a total of 3 weapons, 1 golden and 2 regular. But in this set, with these 8 weapons, 4 on each side, the 3 swords in the back, plus the 2 weapons that the minifigures are holding, which you'll see in a moment. That's a total of 13 different unique weapons for the minifigures in this set, 4 of which are golden, and 9 of which are regular. That's genuinely so much fun, and part of the reason I won this set so much as a kid, because it just gives you so many more options for play. There's also 2 tiny little side builds in the set. There are these little ball launchers, which were introduced for LEGO Bionicle. However, they came in other sets at this time too, and you get a total of 2 of them, 1 for each side. In fact, the red one's for the ninja side and like the spiked golden ones for the skeleton side. And the way these work is you just sort of squeeze in on them, and the ball or spiked ball piece will actually shoot out. These spiked ball pieces will also introduced for Bionicle, and I always thought they were the coolest thing when I was a kid. They just look big and scary, but they're also just so much fun because they're all rubbery. I always really love them, so it's super cool to get them again here. But of course, it works the same way with the other launcher and the red ball. However, of course, this is just a solid red LEGO ball piece. And the idea with these were to be another obstacle in the arena. You could line them up on the side right here between these teeth pieces, and then when you have your character spinning in the center, you can try to aim this to hit your opponent's character and knock them off their spinner to give you an advantage in the game. Again, that's really cool. I love how this is more than just a visual arena. It gives you ways to mix up the gameplay. That's a ton of fun. But now let's take a look at the spinners and how they actually interact with the arena. So the set of course came with 2 spinners, one for Cole DX and one for Bonezai. So you have a good guy spinner, bad guy spinner. And if you're unfamiliar with how the 2011 spinner game worked, basically you place your character in with a weapon in hand, you spin the spinner, and then your opponent would do the same thing. And obviously it's a bit hard to do when it's just me right here and I don't have a second person. But the idea is you want your weapon hit your opponent and knock them off their spinner, and whatever character's left standing wins. Now this set's really interesting because neither of these spinners were exclusive to this set. Bonezai did have his own like $10 spinner set, which came with the same exact spinner piece, so this set was just an alternate way to get it if you didn't want to buy the smaller set. And Cole DX was kind of the same. He did have a $10 spinner set, however that didn't come out till March. So this set was almost an early release of this spinner, because this set came out in January 2011, so by getting this set you were able to get the spinner 2 months earlier. But yeah, of course nowadays neither of these are exclusive, but it's still cool to get them both here. So the idea with the arena is you have a character start on each side, you can spin them in, and then the fighting actually takes place in the arena, and then of course you can play with all the obstacles that I just mentioned earlier. Now I'm going to attempt to do this on camera. Might be a bit hard because I'm kind of restricted by the light box, my hand's at an awkward angle, and of course there's only one of me and there's 2 spinners, but let's see if I can get this done. Alright, first Bonezai. Alright, he's in the arena. Now let's see if I can get Cole at the same time. That's not happening. He's gonna stop. But even still, let me try Cole. There we go. So yeah, you guys get the idea. If you have 2 people actually doing it, and you're doing this on an open table where you don't have walls on both sides like I do, it's not too difficult to do, and it genuinely is a lot of fun. And of course with the spinners, you could change up the weapons to any of the ones on here, or just ones from your own collection, and you also don't have to use the 2 spinners that come in the set. You can also choose other ones from your collection. I really just love the gameplay possibilities this opens up here. I think that's all I have to show you on the set, at least for now. I'll talk about it more at the end of the video, but now let's take a look at the 2 minifigures that the set comes with. Or actually wait, before we move on to the minifigures, because this set is a spinner set, it did come with a set of cards to be used in the spinner game, so let's take a quick look at them. The cards were one of the coolest parts of the spinner game. I loved collecting them as a kid, and I miss this kind of stuff nowadays, because I know we do still get spinners even if they are different, but something about the cards were so special. I love seeing the art on them, and it just made the game have so much more depth. But yeah, let's take a look at the 10 in this set. So of course we have the character card for Bonezai. This is no different to his character card in the smaller set, so you can see he has like the golden pickaxe as his main golden weapon, even though he doesn't come with that in this set. Then we have the Cole DX character card. You can see the DX ninja is slightly stronger than the normal ninja, with 100 total elemental points, while the normal ninja and the skeletons just have 100 points. Yeah, this could be a total on video. The way the spinner game worked was there was the 4 elemental powers, and each card had strength in each of them. So of course Cole has the highest strength in earth, but then he's also got a little bit of ice, a little bit of fire, and then a tiny little bit of lightning, as opposed to Bonezai, who has a decent amount of ice, and actually a solid amount of earth and lightning, but then absolutely no fire. And the way that these work is your character card has to be strong enough to use this. So for example, this one costs 2 fire, so Cole DX would be able to use it, but Bonezai would not because he doesn't have 2 fire. This is the magnetized card, which makes the opponent have to spin their spinner from a specific location, wherever you place the card. We have the throwing star card. This was always one of my favorites as a kid. You're actually able to throw the card at the spinners while it's in play. That one costs 1 lightning. I believe there's an ice version of it too. Then there's Karate Chop, where you can use your hand to push the spinner. Limbo, which is a golden card, which I believe means you have to be using your golden weapon to use it. And this forces the opponent to lean their character backwards. Alright, okay, here is the ice throwing star that I mentioned, which has the exact same effect, just costs ice instead of lightning. We have the off balance card. Opponent stands character on 1 leg until a player wins. The Rock Block card, where you can actually add some bricks to the spinner. Now that's kind of interesting that one comes in this set, because like the $10 spinner sets would come with extra bricks to build upon the spinner, but this set actually does not. So again, if you just have this set, you can't really play this card because you don't have the pieces for it, but oh well. And then finally, another golden card, Safeguard, where you can choose what weapon you give up when you lose, rather than having to give up the weapon that you used. Again, I love the art on these. I really miss this art. Just seeing all the characters interacting, Cole with the skeletons, Jay like struggling to do spinjitzu, Kai leaning backwards. Yeah, it's all just so cool and adds extra life to the characters and to the set. A ton of fun. I'm really happy they were included. But yeah, I think that's it for the cards. Oh, I guess there's a look at them from the back. We've never seen those before. But now let's move on to the minifigures in the set. So here are the 2 minifigures in the set. We of course have Cole DX and Bonezai, as I mentioned before. And yeah, they're a very interesting pair. In terms of accessory, Cole DX comes with his golden flail, which I believe is the same weapon he was later given in the spinner set. Hey, quick correction in editing. The Cole DX spinner actually came with a scythe that quakes. It was actually the Zane DX spinner that came with a flail that Cole has in this set. Well, Bonezai has this golden bone axe. Cole DX, though, is an amazing minifigure all around. The DX figures were ahead of their time, and still hold up super well to this day. The gold on top of the black just really pops, and of course it is a metallic gold print so it reflects in the light. Additionally, Cole's got one of the most unique DX suits, because his dragon does have a different shaped head than the rest of the ninja, so as such his DX suit reflects that. But no, I love how it's like shooting a rock blast out of its mouth, and then it's got like this rocky tail that continues into his legs. Just a beautiful minifigure all around. And I do believe at the time of this set's release, this figure was exclusive to this set, though later, as I mentioned, it came in a spinner set, and then also Cole's dragon. But still, in January 2011, this was the only way to get this minifigure. Then, of course, classic ninja wrap on the head, and if you take that off, there you can see his back torso print where Cole's got his name, as well as his original symbol right there. And there's a look at the face print from the front, just the classic Cole face print. Now, Bonezai's odd. Unfortunately, he does not come with his armor piece, which he did have in his smaller spinner set, so that is one negative about getting this set over the smaller spinner set, is you don't get the full version of Bonezai. Additionally, something very weird is the arms. Now, the arms on this figure look normal, and these are the arms that came in all normal sets. However, in the actual $10 spinner packs, the skeletons all came with arms where the hands were facing outwards. That's so that instead of holding the weapon like this, they would hold them to the side like this. And yeah, that makes a lot more sense for the spinners, because holding the weapons out like this allows you to actually hit your opponent when you spin. But with the arms it comes with in this set, you can see the weapon barely even sticks out, so it's going to be hard to hit your opponent with that. It's a very minor thing, but yeah, you kind of need another set for the spinner arena to actually work. Otherwise, Bonezai's just going to be at a severe disadvantage, because he doesn't have the right arms for it. That feels like a huge oversight, and I'm not sure how that happened. Again, very easy fix if you have other sets. You just swap Bonezai out for another minifigure, or just swap his arms out for another Skullkin's arms. But it's a shame that in this set he didn't come with the arms designed for spinners, because he is meant to be used on the spinner in this set. But moving on from that, there's not a ton else to this guy. He is the most generic of the Skullkin. He's got the white loincloth, and then his eyes seem to be sort of just rattling in his skull, but he's got a very cute and fun design. And with basically all the Skullkin, I do still really like him. Just wish he came with his armor piece, and I wish he had the proper arms to match with the spinner. But all things considered, I'd say this is a fairly solid minifigure selection. Obviously, more minifigures would have been cool, but considering you do get the spinners in this set, I think 2 is perfectly fine. And so, overall, what are my thoughts on this set? I honestly really like this set. I am a bit biased because I loved the spinner game as a kid. I would play it with my friends all the time. We would love just fighting each other with different weapons and seeing who would win. And I always wanted this set as a kid, so finally having it is super rewarding, and I can't say I'm disappointed. In terms of value, I'd say it's actually pretty good, because it does come with 2 spinners, which LEGO valued at $10 a piece if you were to buy them individually. So getting all those plus a pretty significant build for $50, yeah, that doesn't seem bad at all. I love the variety of weapons you get here, how cool the arena looks, and the ways to mix up the spinner game with like the little turrets on the side. If I had any criticisms, that'd just be very minor things. Like, yeah, I wish the skeleton came with the proper arms, but that's very easy to fix. And I wish it came with his armor piece, but oh well. All things considered, I think this is a really fun set that both looks good and is fun to play with, so I highly recommend it. I got this on the aftermarket and it wasn't too expensive, so if you guys are interested in trying out the spinner game, this might be a decent set to start with. You just might want to get another one to fix that skeleton up. But, of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!